videos. So just a little disclaimer right up front. You'll notice that the little red live button is not on the screen. So that means I'm not actually live with this video. So this is my Friday night kind of live. So if you're new to my channel, I typically go live every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, sometimes I may not be able to go live because, maybe there's something else that's going on that I'm not going to be able to actually do the live. Or there could be circumstances like the reason why I am doing this tonight. So, whenever there's going to be some kind of significant weather. So a couple of weeks ago, I did do a kind of live. It was on, I believe, September 13th. And the reason why I did it as a kind of live, meaning I kind of recorded it the day before. And that's exactly what I'm doing for this video as well. I'm doing this Thursday evening. So before, the reason why was because there was Hurricane Francine made landfall and it was coming straight up, and we were going to get the remnants, a lot of heavy rain, and they talked about heavy wind and wind gusts and all that other stuff. So instead of taking a chance and having the power go out before I was going to go live, or maybe the power and the internet going out while I was live, I decided to do it as a pre-record, so then that way you'd be able to still get the video at 7 p.m. right here on my channel. So I'm kind of doing the same thing this week, because now there is Hurricane Helene. Now, at the time that I am recording this, which is kind of late, about 10:30ish, I would say my time, almost 11:30, Florida time, Hurricane Helene made landfall. So a lot of that, I've been kind of watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and he's been going at it for like 11 hours now. Well, now he's up to like 12. He had to do a part two. So he's still covering what's going on. So it's been really crazy between Florida and Georgia and South and North Carolina. A lot of rain and threats of, um, tornadoes, and well, a lot of tornadoes. So first I want to say, for those of you that are in the path of this storm or have already been affected by, just everything about it, I'm praying for you. Please stay safe. And, if you're in an area where it's really flooded, please do not go and drive, through any deep water, because your car will stall out and then you will be stuck and you'll be stranded. So please stay safe. And again, there's like tornadoes, there's the heavy wind and the rain and all that. But by come tomorrow, we're supposed to start getting some of this rain. And they talk about there could be some gusty winds as well here. So I'm just doing this as a precautionary in the event, I should lose power. Hopefully, I'm hoping that we don't, but that's why I'm doing this as a pre-record. So let me get started. So the projects that I am working on tonight, that I'm working on for you here, they're very easy projects. I am featuring the Humble Home Bundle. So this bundle is a photopolymer stamp set, and then it also has a coordinating what is this? Humble Home Builder Punch. I do put labels on them so I can remember what the names are. So this is what we're going to be working with tonight. So before I get started on that, I want to go through some really quick housekeeping. Now you'll notice I do not have my little header here about um, receiving card kits with a minimum $35 purchase. Uh, I'm probably going to put like a pause on that, because um, I don't have a whole lot of people that are watching me when I'm live. And I do get some people that do, that watch on the replay. However, a lot of people who may be watching me may be people that are watching to support me, and they're not really crafters. And then I also have fellow demonstrators who watch too. So for them to be ordering through me wouldn't make sense when they can get a discount on their own products. So for the moment, I don't have that offered for this. If things pick up down the road, then, I will go ahead and I will offer it again. So in the meantime, I'm not, okay? So a few things. World Card Making Day. This is coming up really quickly. So this happens not this weekend, but next weekend, October 5th. World Card Making Day happens every year on the first Saturday in October. This year it's on October 5th. And Stampin' Up! Is putting on a free virtual event. Now, this is free for everybody, it's not just for demonstrators. Their event is going to happen from 2 to 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Um, the projects that they're doing are very easy projects. And they're using a pre-printed card bases with coordinating envelopes, and then they're using three different ephemera packs. And so basically all you really need other than those items would be like adhesive, because there's no stamping with those projects. Now they'll have additional projects that they'll show you using the white note cards and envelopes, and a stamp set, and a black ink pad. So when once you register, all that info will be emailed to you. I will hold this up. This is a QR code that if you want to scan it, it'll take you right to the registration page to where you just put your info in. Again, even though it's a free event, you do want to register because they will email to you um, the registration form and all that. Um, I'm probably making no sense here, but when you register, they're going to email you the link to the platform they're using. That's what I was trying to get out. And then they also made mention that everyone that registers are going to receive a free gift at the end of it as well. So even if you're going to be with a group of people, still have everybody register. So then that way they can receive the free gift as well. Plus, on October 8th, they will have the replay available. So for if any reason you're not available to watch it live that day, or maybe something's going on during those times or whatever, starting October 8th, you'll be able to rewatch it. So I'll also have a link in the description of the video. If you would, you can click on that as well, and that will take you to the registration page as well. Now, the deadline to register for this, I believe it's 1 p.m. Mountain Time on October 4th. Okay. Now, I'm going to also be doing something on this day too. So I am planning an in-person event here at my home. It'll go from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you are local to me, my email address is going to be in the description as well. Just send me an email and let me know. I would need to know by Thursday, October 3rd, just to let me know that you would be coming in. I'll provide the rest of the info, like the address and everything like that. Um, and then what I'm going to do Now, we're not gonna, when I do my in-person event, I will not be doing the same projects that Stampin' Up will be doing. I'll be doing something different. And I probably will not be using just one bundle. So we may be, we're gonna do like a variety of projects. What I'm gonna do then at 7 p.m. right here on the channel, I'm gonna recreate those projects in a live. So hopefully, we don't have no bad weather or anything like that, so then we can come together that evening as well. Um, there's some like paper pumpkin related stuff. Now, I had done a video, I believe it was either earlier this week or last week, where I showcased the September Autumn Abundance Kit. I also gave a sneak peek into what the next 3 kits are going to be. So if you want more information about all of that, go back to that video, and I do that at the very beginning. But I do want to make mention about the October kit. This is the Nesta Christmas kit. This coordinates with the Nesta Winter Sweet Collection that is in our holiday mini catalog. They have a subscribing special. So on the first, for the first month, which would be the October kit, you can get 40% off. You just use the code HOLIDAY, all in capital letters, 40, at paperpumpkin.com. Uh, if you had subscribed at one time and you're thinking about subscribing again, this is the perfect time because you get that 40% off this first kit. Um, just use a different email address. If you use the same one that you used before, then it's not going to let you use that 40% off because it's for new subscribers. So use a different email than what you had used before. So the deadline for this is on October 10th. Okay, and then another thing that they've been doing, they've been offering die add-ons that coordinate with the 3 months worth of paper pumpkins. So they did it with the first 3 quarters that, yeah, 3 quarters, three, well, the first, well, January, February, March, April, May, June, and July, August, September, they had coordinating dies. So for October, November, December, this is the Merry Tags and More dies. Now you do not need the dies to create, to complete the projects that are in the kit. This is just something extra, for doing more crafting. You do need to be a subscriber to get these. These will these are kind of like a while supplies last type of deal. So the item number for these is 165639, and here in the United States it's $12. Okay, and then I will also have the link to the scrapbooking brochure. I did show this, I believe, in a couple of Friday night lives ago, a couple of weeks ago. Uh, Stampin' Up is now really bringing in the traditional 12 by 12 scrapbooking. So because this was kind of, like a rush to get, this type of product in, with all of our other stuff that we have for September, and then at the beginning of the year when we have our next mini catalog that starts in January. The scrapbooking brochures are going to be digital. They're not going to be in a printed form. Starting in the new annual catalog next year, all the scrapbooking stuff that typically would be in the brochure is going to be included in that annual catalog. So there are a couple of scrapbooking workshop kits that coordinate with some stuff that's in our current holiday mini. There's something here that coordinates with our Halloween bundle that's in the online exclusives. And there's also some fall stuff, which I also did on what was last Sunday was the first day of fall. So I did a special holiday video, and I did feature the Autumn to Remember. This is this suite right here. So I did get the scrapbooking workshop kit. Now I'm not a scrapbooker, but all this stuff you can use to make cards as well. So I had used some of the DSP, some of the two-tone cardstock, and I even used the Autumn to Remember stamp set. So I will have a link for this. You can download it and you can print it out. This was actually like 20 pages, or you can just save it to your computer so that way you can look at it. A couple of things that I do want to, now this isn't happening quite yet, but it's just stuff that's coming up starting in October. So from the 1st to the 31st, you can get up to 30% off on the kits that are in our kit collection. Um, yeah. So what they're saying that the kits are only available while supplies last. So this starts October 1st, goes to the 31st, and I will have a link to, well, I can't really add the link to it yet because, well, I guess, yeah, I can. It'll take you to where the kits collection are in the online store. But again, this sale isn't going to start until October 1st, okay? A couple of little sneak peeks of what else is coming. So for demonstrators, one of the perks is that we do get to do pre-orders when it comes to any of our catalogs and also the online exclusives. So in the online exclusives, starting the 1st of October, I believe it's the 1st of October, demonstrators will be able to pre-order, and then this stuff will become available to customers in November. So there is a whole suite that is geared around Valentine's Day. So there's adhesive back heart sequins. There's two different size gift bags, some gold twisted thread. There's a bundle here, a stamp set, and then you got some heart dies in there. And then there's a whole nother bundle that has hibiscus flowers. And then there's coordinating dies. And then there's also, what is this? Actually, it's a hybrid embossing folder. So it's one of those where you can use the dies in the embossing folder. So this is called the Marbled Elegant Suite Collection. So again, this demonstrators will be able to pre-order starting in October, and then it'll go live to everyone else in November. So you got some really nice bright uh, marbled paper on one side, and there's some gold foiling in there. And then another sweet collection is the Otterly Adorable Sweet Collection. And so it's all about the otters, and there's not much of anything else that they really show on this, but really cute. It's got the paper, it's got embellishments. There is a stamp and a die bundle, and then there's some Lost Lagoon believe what they call that satin trim, I think it is, or satin twine. So really, really cute and adorable. So that's again, demonstrators can pre-order this in October, and then it'll be available in November. Another thing that's happening in October, they're going to have a starter kit special. So typically here in the US, the cost of a starter kit is $99 plus tax. The shipping is free. And with that $99, you typically would choose $125 in product of your choosing. So this can be product that is in any of our catalogs, in the online exclusives, in the clearance rack, even items that are pre-order right now, well, pre-order starting in October for the new online exclusives, you can add this into your starter kit as well. And so for this special, it starts October 1st, goes to the 31st, and instead of getting $125 worth of product, you can choose $155 in product. So I'll have a link too to my online, well, my Stampin' Up website, and you can read all about what the whole starter kit and the joining and all that other stuff. Now, I will tell you that uh, you don't have to join Stampin' Up and be a demonstrator. You don't have to do what I'm doing, where I'm building it as a business and doing videos and classes and things like that. You can simply be what they would call a hobby demo or a happy shopper, where you're basically getting your products at a discount. You get the opportunity to have that little perk of seeing the new catalogs early and getting the chance to pre-order, and also attending Stampin' Up events as well. So I'll have information where you can go to read more about it. And two, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Another thing, I don't know how I'm going to be able to add this into the description, but um, when we got our new catalog, the whole format of the catalog had changed. And in our previous catalogs, all our designer series papers and the specialty papers were all together, along with all the dies were all together, and all the punches. Well, in this new catalog, it's kind of scattered throughout the catalog. They're not all in one place like they were before. So Stampin' Up, they had done a video. It was a video for demonstrators to kind of explain, answer some of the questions and the concerns that demos had expressed. And one of the things was the fact about having, all the papers, dies, and the punches all together to make it easier to find the stuff. I will tell you that trying to kind of find stuff, and some things are kind of hidden within those pages that you really have to pay attention. And I'm sure that there's products that are probably getting missed because they're not really showcased in the same way. So what they did, they created a PDF that has all, now this is everything that's in, this is what's in the annual catalog, not the holiday mini, not what's, in the online exclusives. So all the papers, they have the item numbers, they have the price of them. It's all of the papers and all of the specialty paper as well. Um, the dies. So all the dies, they have the pictures of them along with the item number and the price. So there's a couple of pages of that. And then there are the punches, all the punches that are in the annual catalog. Now, I do want to mention this. So if you reference this, for the dies and everything, just be mindful that I'll use this as an example, like the country birdhouses and the country flowers dies. Now, these are currently part of a bundle with a stamp set. So if you want both the stamp set and the dies, don't use these numbers because you want the item number that's going to give you the bundled price for the both of them. So you would want to reference the annual catalog, so that way you can order the bundle. Okay, some of the things like the cheerful daisy dies, now there is a coordinating stamp set, but because this carried over from our last annual catalog, they're no longer at that 10% bundled price. So these, you would just use these numbers to order them separately. So just be mindful, just with some of these sets of dies that are currently bundled with a stamp set and that bundle discount. So all the sets of dies are in here. That's in the catalog, along with all the punches. So the same thing, be mindful if any of these punches are currently bundled price with the coordinating stamp set. And then this is just information that I provided about Paper Pumpkin, what's coming up. This is the November kit and the December kit. So that is all on the, what do you call it, the housekeeping stuff. So let me go ahead and get started. Now again, as I mentioned, this is a kind of live, meaning I'm doing this live, but it's unlisted. So I'm the only one on here doing this. And then what I do is after the fact, I will then set everything up where I'll put all the descriptive stuff in there, and I will add the pretty thumbnail picture and all that. But again, you won't see it until 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, because again, trying to schedule something ahead of time, with the whole vertical versus horizontal deal, we're still having that issue. Still don't know what's up with that. So this is what I have to do. I just have to basically go live. And so when I actually am live, which I'm sure that I'm hoping that next Friday I will be live, I will be coming on like 15 minutes earlier, because then that's going to give me the opportunity to kind of get everything set up in the description and everything like that. So if you ever come back to watch it, just skip ahead about 15 minutes, and then that's when I'll start with everything with the projects and stuff. Okay, so again, like I said, these projects are fairly easy projects. Now, I ahead of time, because I'm trying to get everything done with this and prepared to do this video. I don't have my little cheat sheet that tells me all the sizes of everything, so I do have my ruler right here. So I have a piece of Misty Moonlight. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have a scrap piece of basic beige, and that I had used the second largest perennial postage die. This is in the annual catalog. I carried over from our, I believe it was the mini catalog at the beginning of the year. So the stamp set and everything that coordinates with this, um, actually, no, the stamp set that coordinated with this was just all greetings that retired, but all the rest of the stuff that was part of this whole suite is still available. It's all in the catalog. Okay, so the second largest one, I used that, and I had die cut that piece. And then I have another scrap of basic beige. So I'm going to start off, move my ruler out of the way. I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. Okay, and I'll set that aside. And then I'm going to bring in this piece, and then I have my dies here. Let me think there's something on there, so let me clean that off. Sorry about the squeaking. Okay. So I have my house stamp, I have the roof, I have this heart. This looks like there's some fuzz or something on it. Okay, and then I have the stamp that has the door and 2 windows on it. And let's see, I need my ink. So the ink that I am using, I have pecan pie, Misty Moonlight and Cherry Cobbler. So I am going to take my Cherry Cobbler and I'm going to ink up the brick house. And I'm going to stamp this in the middle towards the bottom. Okay. Actually, let's flip that over. We'll stamp it again. Now some of the ink did get into the crevices there between the bricks, so I'm not going to press really, really hard. Okay, so that looks a little bit filled in better. And I'm going to clean this even though it's still going to stain. Actually, Cherry Cobbler must have like a blue to it because when I clean it, it actually looks like it's purple. Okay. And then I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to need this color again. And then I'm going to bring in my pecan pie. And I am going to ink up this roof piece. Now I'm going to move this a little bit closer to me so I can see right above it. And because this is photopolymer, it makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to stamp right along the top of those bricks, like so. That's what's nice about the photopolymer, is that you can see exactly where you're stamping. Okay, and then the image that has the door and the two windows, I am going to stamp this in Misty Moonlight. So I ink this up. And I am going to stamp this up at the top here. Now in the punch, there is like this little square here that I can punch out those windows. They probably can't see it very well. There you go. So because it's a lot larger than the windows, I'm just going to simply cut it out. So let me actually just close these up until I'm ready for them, because I'm going to stamp on this piece that I die cut from that perennial postage die. Okay, so then I'm going to come in with my punch. Now, if your cardstock, when you put it in here, there's really nothing to hold on to. A little tip, take a Post-it note and place that kind of like on the top there. And this kind of becomes your handle to then line your image up and then punch. There we go. Okay, so let me get these little bits out of the way. Okay, move the punch. Now I'm going to fussy cut. Now I could have stamped this on top of it too, but yeah, I did not do that. So when I cut this, I'm going to leave a little border of that basic beige. And I can move this down a little bit more. Sorry for the wiggling. Okay. And then we'll glue our door down. Let me trim that a little bit better. Okay. And then these windows are going to be really, really small. This is where you got to be careful that you don't go and cut your fingers, because these snips are, they are sharp. And the thing is too, being a lefty, to be able to see where the edge of that stamp piece is, I have to turn it the other way, so it looks like it's kind of awkward when I'm trying to cut these out. Oops, gotta turn it the other way. Okay, so there we go. So let me take all these pieces here and get rid of these. All right, so then let me bring in this piece. Now before I glue or I adhere this to this piece, I'm going to place this right here. And then I'm going to bring in the stamp that says "From Our House to Yours." Okay, let me get a block for that. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my Misty Moonlight. Okay, so I want to line this to where I want to place it. I'm going to ink this up. Okay, and then I'm going to move this down a little bit so I can stamp this straight. I'm going to stamp that right there. Okay. Okay, put that aside. And then I'm going to bring in the Cherry Cobbler ink. I'll ink that my heart up. And then I'm going to stamp this right here. Cherry Cobbler is definitely one of my favorite reds. Okay. Now let's close this all up and let's assemble a card. Like I said, these cards are very simple cards, so they will go together quickly. All right, so I am going to take this piece and I'm going to pop this up onto my card base. So I'm going to add one in each corner. And then I'm going to put one in the middle because I don't want it all saggy. So it is kind of late here. What time is it? It's almost 11:30 here. And it is basically the calm before the storm here. It's supposed to start raining tonight, sometime after midnight. And they're talking about, some, we're under like a flood watch. And we're supposed to have the rain like basically all day tomorrow, then into the evening, and then they're talking about Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, and then when you talk about some gusts of wind too, that's why, I didn't want to take a chance, with either the internet or the power going out, because around here we do have a lot of tall old trees. And when your ground is like really saturated, a lot of, a good gust of wind could end up uprooting those trees. So you just even though they did trimming of the trees and stuff, you just never know. So, okay, so I'm going to take the door and I'm going to kind of add this. Now it's kind of hard because the piece is so small. And again, this isn't perfectly rectangular. So it does have a little bit of an angle to it. Okay, and then for these windows, because they are so small, I'm going to use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to add just a little drop of glue on either end of that door. Okay, and then we'll take and we'll get the other one and we'll place that one over here. And again, these aren't, they're not perfectly straight, so looks a little whimsical when it's like that. So I'm not concerned or worried about it not being straight. Okay, so then I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. The one thing that I'm looking forward to when we get this rain and all that, it's going to cool down, and tomorrow it's going to be in the 60s. Today, I think it was close to, well, it started in the 60s and then it kind of worked its way up into the 80s. I actually turned the AC off and I had the windows open for most of the day. Okay, so now for my embellishment, I am going to bring in, well, first I'm going to get my, what am I looking for? Glue dots. Now these glue dots, these are from a past paper pumpkin kit. And I am going to take one of these and I'm going to add it right here to the top of the house. And I will remove that paper backing. And then I'm going to bring in the Natural Tones linen thread. Now I believe that these are currently on back order, but they are coming back. And this is part of that, yeah, was it Nesta Winter? The one that coordinates with that paper pumpkin kit for October that I showed you. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bow. Don't need my loops big because my little house is, it's kind of small. So I'm going to stick that right into my glue dot. And then I'm going to trim. Just like that. Okay, so let me kind of put that back in there and tidy up just a little bit. Because like I said in the past, my work surface tends to get cluttered up really quickly. And then of course I don't work very well when it's too cluttered. So there is our cute, simple, I would say country looking card. Okay, so let me now get the stuff for our second card. So this one is close to a case from the holiday mini catalog. The only difference is when they did this, they did it as a tag, and I'm making it into a card. Okay, so I have a piece of bubble bath. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I then have 2 scraps of basic white, and then out of a scrap piece of crumb cake, I die cut that using the Countryside Corners die. So it's the second largest die that I used. So I die cut that, and then with my trimmer, I cut off so I basically, from this point to this point on one end, I cut that off. So there's a tag. Now, if I wanted to put a hole, like if I want to put a hole in there, you know, to add, say, ribbon or twine, I believe that there is a set of dies. And I can't remember offhand which set of dies it is, but there we have some dies that will create like the little hole, or if you have a little hole punch, that'll work as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with folding and burnishing this card base. Okay, and I'll set that aside. Then on this piece of basic white, I am going to take my punch, and again, the piece is kind of small, so to kind of have my little handle here, I'm going to use my little post-it note. And what I want to punch out the house. Okay. Or you can even use, actually, you can even do this. You take the front of this, kind of like center it. And come in. Oops, no, I don't want to. Okay. So you can do a little, now I was off a little bit, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is now you can either create a bow and you can put a glue dot there and attach your bow there, or you can loop it through. So my sample that I did, I didn't punch the little circle, and I just added that bow on there. So you kind of almost got a sneak peek of what this card is going to look like. So again, this is a case of what's in the catalog, but they just have it as a tag, and I'm making it into a card. Okay, so with my punched out house here, I'm going to bring in my heart, and I'm going to bring in my bubble bath ink. Ink this up. And I'm going to stamp that right here. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I stamp over it. So I'll clean that off. Okay, and then on this piece, I'm going to bring in this brick part again, and I'm going to stamp that in Pool Party ink. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that right down here. And didn't fully ink up right, so I'm going to do it again, because again, there's 2 sides to every piece of cardstock. And I'm going to stamp that again. Okay, well, Let me get another piece, little scrap piece. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. And I'm going to clean this. And then I'm just going to dry it on my pants. Okay, heat this up again. And stamp it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave that. That'll be okay. All right, and then I'm gonna bring in my crumb cake. And then the roof part, I'm gonna ink that up. Let me bring this down. And stamp that. Now what I do is I kind of bring this roof piece down a little bit where I see it's just over the house part. And then I just go up just a little bit more. And that's what helps in lining it all up. Okay. You know, guys, I'm very too, yeah. I'm way too like it's got to be right. So I'm going to use the back of my spoon here to just kind of distribute this ink a little bit better in my pool party. And I'm going to do the same thing with the crumb cake. Okay. My sample card, it's stamped perfectly. Okay, so let's try this again. So I'm going to make sure that this is dry. Ink up the house. And stamp it. Much better. Much better. Okay, and then I'll close this up because I'm done with this. And then take the roof part. I'm going to bring this down. Stamp that. Okay. I'm nicking like right in that area that's in between the chimney and the roof. Okay, and then there is a little script home. I'm going to ink that up in my crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp this partially over that heart, little home. Okay, and then the door and the windows, I'm going to ink that up in crumb cake. And I'm going to stamp this right down here, like so. Now you are able to see some of those bricks from behind it, but that's okay. All right, so now let me set the ribbon. Well, let's go and punch that out. So I'm going to get my little handle here. And I'll stick this in here like so. Trying to line it up so it looks somewhat even. And I'll punch that out. Okay. All right. So let me bring in some scrap paper. Okay, and then on this tag piece here, I'm going to bring in the stamp that says welcome, and I'm going to randomly stamp these over on the left hand side. So I'm going to start at the very bottom to where you can see the whole welcome, and then I'm going to re-ink. And I'm not worrying about, you know, them being even, because they're looking like they're a little crooked, but that's okay. Because some of this is going to be hidden behind these houses. Looks like that my crumb cake needs to be re-inked. Okay. And I'll close this up. Ended up with extra ink there. Not doing it again, not doing it again, not doing it again. All right. So then, like I showed you with the other card, I had made a bow. So this time, I'm going to add basically my thread here. And I'm going to come from behind it, pull it through, and pull the ends through like that. And then I'm going to tie a knot like so. My little cup charm got twisted around the thing, so I can't open my scissors. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that in there. That really is bothering me, guys. I know I'm being too particular, but that looks sloppy to me. Hold on. Like they say, third time's a charm. Let me try this again. So can ink up the house. And I'm going to come right here. I don't know. You know, I did the sample and it came out perfectly. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. And what I need to do is this has to dry before I try stamping on top of it. So let me kind of do this off screen because I'm probably freaking the video out and my camera's trying to, focus on it. Because if I try stamping over this with the crumb cake, it's going to bleed because this ink would still be wet. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I need to clean my chamois again because I'm getting these little particles or something on. Again, I need this to be dry. All right, so let's get the house in. No, not the house, the door and the windows. And come down here, stamp. There we go, that's better. Next step on this, punching it out. Let's close this up. Okay, now bring in my, oh, I don't know. Let's see, maybe this piece is long enough. It is. So line this up. And while I was working today, I was also watching that live stream of Ryan Hall, y'all. I was watching his channel, and again, I guess when you do when you stream a live, the longest amount of time you can go is like 12 hours. And so just before I hit 12 hours, he started another stream. So he did a part 2. So he has all that stuff from earlier in the day. Okay. Now I'm going to take this house here and I'm going to use my seal. Try to use my seal. Okay, and on my tag, I'm going to add this house right over here. And then this one, I'm going to pop this one up. Yeah, so I'm from New York and I lived on Long Island, and while I lived there, we had our fair share of hurricanes. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm a bit of a weather nerd. I'm all for a good storm, but I will tell you, sometimes storms here are pretty bad. And especially here, I mean, my studio here, and this is also where I work, every day, work from home. So there's a window right over there, and my desk is in front of it, and then there's a lot of like brush and greenery and all that other kind of stuff and trees, and then there's also the power poles with there's a transformer on there. And when we get like some heavy gusts of wind, we had a straight line wind, I believe it was last year. I literally watched it snap a top of a tree off, hit the fuses on that transformer, and yeah, it set them on fire. So the top of the pole was on fire. Luckily, it was raining to put it out. And yeah, and then it's like those things started exploding. So it was like bright flashes and loud bangs. And yeah, so that was kind of scary because that's just a little too close. And of course, I was without power, I think, for like 2.5 days. I think it was what? I think it was like 61 hours. I think we had no power. So that wasn't good. So that's the thing, they say that, you can get gusts of wind from 30 to 35, but you just never know if you may get that one that just, that straight line wind. That's just as bad as a tornado, I'll tell you, because a few years ago when I lived in Midtown, we had a severe storm, and trees were uprooted and trees snapped, and yeah, we had no power for a few days. So that one was kind of scary because around the house there were a lot of these big old trees. So it was always like, and of course this stuff would always happen at nighttime. And when it's nighttime and you really can't see what's going on, yeah, it's a little scary when it's nighttime. Okay, so I'm going to add these embellishments. These are the iridescent faceted gems. These are part of the Full of Life Sweet Collection. And I'm going to add a few of these to my tag here. So I got a large one, and I'm going to take 2 small ones. Put this one kind of like up here. Okay. Let me put that away. Let me kind of tip that over so the glue kind of stays up near the tip of it. Okay, so there is the second card. I really love these little embellishments. They are very, very sparkly. Okay, so let me get the stuff and let's do our final card. So our final card is going to be more on the Christmas side. So kind of doing a variety with this bundle. Okay, so let me bring in all the pieces for this one. Okay, and I really love this color combination of the red, white, and the dark brown color. So I have a piece of basic white thick. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of this DSP here. This is the Take a Bow 6x6 Designer Series paper. There's garden green, granny apple green, and real red in here. So with this pack of paper, you get 48 sheets, and there's only 4 double-sided patterns. So you have this real red and white dotted, and on the other side you have this stripe, and then of course there's the red and white stripe that I'm using, and then the back is like the holly berries, and then we have these really cool dots, and on the back of that are like these green stars, and then we have this one here that's got the diagonal stripes of all 3 colors on one side, and then the other side is this garden green and granny apple green spotted one. So this pack of paper is actually part of a bundle. It bundles with the take a bow. Hold on. It bundles with this die, so it's one die. And when you die cut this, you get these 6 strips of DSP, and you put it together to create a gift bow. So I'm going to use this, but this is probably going to be something more like for Christmas. So of course, so probably definitely something in December that I use that. Okay, so this piece of DSP, this measures 5 1/4. Yes, 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of real red. This measures 4 1/4 by 3. Then I have a piece of basic white. This measures 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have a scrap of early espresso. Okay, so for this one, we're going to be doing some heat embossing. So we're going to make a gingerbread house. So I'm going to fold and burnish this card base. Okay, and then I'm going to take this DSP. I'm going to add some adhesive to this. Once I can get my adhesive to come out. Okay, and I'm going to center that. It's not really even. So I'm going to carefully, yeah, this adhesive really sticks. Okay, try it again. Let's center that like so. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere this piece of basic white to that piece of real red. And this is going to have a smaller border. Okay, and then in the stamp set, there's this little Merry Christmas. I'm going to pull that out. And then there's another house image that is really cute. What looks like a little gingerbread house. Okay, so let me put that aside and get a block for my Merry Christmas. And for this, I'm going to use real red. So I'll ink that up. And I'm going to stamp this down here, kind of like in the center. Like so. Okay, so I'll close that up. All right, and then let me bring in this stamp set and let me pull off one of these stamps so I can use the block. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to bring in my embossing additions toolkit. Yep, additions toolkit. And on this piece of early espresso, now in this kit, let me show you what you do get, and let me pull out the things you don't get. So you have the embossing tray, which mine looks a little dirty and I need to clean that. You have an embossing buddy. You have a brush, and then you also have these reverse locking tweezers. So I'm going to be using, hopefully I don't need the brush. Now, I do have a full size Versamark ink pad. This little stamp pad, I did get this off of um, um, oh my gosh, it escapes me where I got it from. Um, um, oh my gosh. Tailored Expressions. That's it. Tailored Expressions, because every year I get those little peel off calendars. So this is when I found this last year, so I like using the little cube. Then I have just like this little piece of Swiffer cloth that I cut, because when I have a dark colored cardstock, when I use the embossing buddy, you kind of see that white on there. So I use this to wipe off that excess powder. And then I have a little hors d'oeuvre spoon. This was in a package of a bunch of other, they're just plastic spoons that I got at the dollar store. I like to use that when I'm scooping out the embossing powder. Now this is the Wow embossing powder that Stampin' Up! Is now carrying. These are the Sistema containers. I got this off of Amazon, and yeah, they're perfect size and they work perfectly. And of course I use my labeler to add the label on there. Okay, so I'm going to take my embossing buddy and I'm going to brush that on there. What this is going to do, it's going to remove any of the static and any of the oils that may be on my fingers, because we want that powder just to stick where I'm going to be stamping. We don't want it anywhere else. So I'm going to close this up. Okay, and then I'm going to ink this up. Okay, I think I got everything. Okay, and I'll stamp this right here. Okay. I'll just quickly clean that off. Okay, now let me open this up. Now when I add my embossing powder, I like to kind of go over it twice. So I'll put a layer on like so, and then just tap it back in there, and then I'll go over it again. So there we go. All right, let's get the lid back on this. And let's take this stuff, move it out of the way. Okay. Now I have my heat tool over here, so I don't know how loud. Sometimes when people use their heat tool, you can hear it, and sometimes you can't. So I don't know what's going to happen when I turn this on, but yeah, we're going to go and heat emboss this. Okay, hopefully that wasn't really loud. Okay, so let's let that cool a little bit before I go and do the next step. And let me do it off the thing because I think I'm freaking the camera on my phone. Okay, so then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to wipe this on here. Now another thing that I also do, now of course on my chamois, that's all got ink on it, but if I dampen this just a little tiny bit, then that'll remove some of that excess as well. That's the one thing when you use the embossing buddy on dark cardstock, it kind of lightens it so it's not like that deep dark color. Unless, you know, if you're doing, if you were doing the white heat embossing on black, you can always have that chalkboard type of look to it, which is cool as well. So let me bring in this, and I'm going to need my little handle. And let's get that in there and line it all up. Okay. It's punching a lot of cardstock, and I find that if I turn it over and do that, it's a little bit easier. Okay, so there's our little house. Okay. Now, for this, I'm going to bring in, let's see, where is it? The Real Red and White Baker's Twine. Now, this twine and the Real Red and White adhesive back peppermints, these are part of a suite. I think it's called Reindeer Fun, I think, but it's that reindeer suite. Now, I will tell you these things are very popular because once the catalog went live, they sold out pretty quick and went on back order. And then they came back in, and I think by the time we had, what was it, when we had our free shipping day, I think they had sold out again. So they're on back order again, but more's coming in. But I can tell you that these have been extremely popular. I mean, these are really cute embellishment. I think it would be cool if this was one of the items that, you know, Stampin' Up! Kind of carried over, because these really are cool, a cool embellishment. Okay, so then I'm going to take this piece that I cut, and so I'm going to double it up, and I'm going to tie this around this piece here. I'm going to attempt to do a bow. But of course, you know, when you're on camera and you go to do this, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Okay, so now let's try and do our bow. Okay, I'll kind of pull these because we don't want a really big loop bow. A little bow. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and kind of come over a little bit with it. And and come down some. And then I'm going to bring in my scissors and I'm going to trim the ends a little bit here. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to pop this up. So let me bring in my dimensionals. Okay, I think, yeah, we need to add it on the back of that. Okay, so I'm going to center this like so. Okay, and then on the back of my gingerbread house, I'm going to add some more dimensionals to that. Okay, and then I'm going to place this right about here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in these embellishments. And I'm going to take one of these medium sized ones and I'm going to put it right over that heart on the door. And then I'm going to use one of each size and I'm going to kind of do what would mimic smoke coming out of the chimney. So kind of come up here. And then one of the tiny ones. So there are 3 different sizes of these little peppermints in this embellishment. Okay, so let me kind of get this stuff out of the way because it's kind of taking up a lot of space. All right, so there is our 3rd card. So this one's our Christmas card because really that image just kind of screams gingerbread house to me. Okay, so now let me bring in the other 2. So here is the one that we did, the welcome home. We're using the bubble bath and the pool party and crumb cake. So that's a really nice color combination. And then we did this more country rustic looking from our house to yours card. So I really like how this one came out as well. So if you liked the projects that I created tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It does help in growing the channel. And it also helps me in growing, excuse me, growing my Stampin' Up! Business. So again, this was my kind of live. I was just being proactive in the event if I had lost power, or if I had internet issues. So this is why I pre-recorded this. So thank you for stopping by and watching. And next Friday, I should be here live. Now, I have not yet figured out what I am doing for next Friday. Um, it's going to be October 1st on Tuesday. So next week, I will have my monthly Christmas card inspiration, which again, I don't know what I'm using yet. I will do that on the 1st, and then on the 4th, no, the 3rd will be my Throwback Thursday, then my Friday Night Live, and then I'll be back here again on Saturday evening on World Card Making Day. So I hope that you will join me next Friday night and next Saturday night. Again, don't know what I'm using or in creating. Typically, when I go to sit down and work on my monthly newsletter, which I will be doing that probably within the first couple of days of October. Um, a lot of the stuff that I spoke about this evening about some of the upcoming things that are coming out and the starter kit special and all that stuff will be included in my newsletter. Every month, Stampin' Up! Comes out with 2 new kits in their kits collection. So I will have image pictures of those along with what the name of the kits are, what's in the kit, uh, everything else that's going on, whatever Stampin' Up! Is offering during that month, plus anything that I am doing. So my whole video schedule, so you get to see up front on my Throwback Thursdays, my Friday Night Lives, and all that, what stamp sets or bundles or suites that I'm going to be using for that particular day. So if you would like to receive my newsletter, again, I typically only send it out once a month unless, there's some special that happens, maybe after I have sent it. Like, for example, when we had free shipping, I sent another one out to let you know about that. Um, but if you would like to be on my newsletter list, there'll be a link in the description. Just simply click on that and it'll just ask for your name and your email address. You'll be added. And so when I have that done, I will get that sent out to you as well. So again, thank you everyone for joining me. Hope you like the projects. Very simple, very cute stamp set along with the coordinating punch. This is the Humble Home and the Humble Home coordinating punch. And these are in the current holiday mini. As a matter of fact, it's the featured bundle that's on the cover of that catalog. So I will see you guys next week. And again, for those of you that are somehow going to be affected by Hurricane Helene. Uh, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, tornado threats, and all that stuff. Just everyone stay safe. If you're in an area where it's going to be really bad, I hope that you had evacuated so you're not stranded and anything bad happens, because they said that when it hit landfall, it was a Category 4 hurricane, and it's gonna still be a hurricane going into southern Georgia. So stay safe, everybody, and have a blessed one. Bye bye.